Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make, I'm not entirely sure how to entitle this, but I always thought of this guy as like the Steve of Terraria, kind of like the default character, so I'm not entirely sure what to entitle it. I'm sure I'll come up with something a little smarter for the title, but hey, that's not important. If you want to make him, here's what you're going to need. You actually need quite a few different materials. Grab yourself some black stained clay, and some brown stained clay. Also grab some green stained clay, some lime stained clay, some light grey, some white. Also grab yourself some spruce wood planks. Also grab some black wool, and finally grab yourself some white wool. Believe it or not, we're actually going to need quite a few more colours a little later on, but for now we can only carry these. So once you have each one of these materials right here, and once you've figured out where you want to make him, I'm going to be making him right here, you're going to want to kick this off with a row of 9 black wool in a row on the floor. That's 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just like that. And once you have your row of 9 black wool, this is what you want to do next. So starting from the left hand side, the first block that you should have placed, going up on top of it, you want to do a row of 3 black wool. So that's 1, 2, 3. From this third block, do an upright diagonal. Then place 2 on top of it, 1, 2. Then go to the left of it by 1. Then go up by 3, so that's 1, 2, 3. Then do an up left diagonal. Then go up by 2, 1, 2. Then do an up left diagonal. Then do an upright diagonal. Then do 2 up left diagonals, so that's 1 and 2. From the second up left diagonal, do an upright diagonal. Then do 2 more up left diagonals, so that's 1 and 2. Then do an upright diagonal. And go right of it by 1. Then do 3 upright diagonals, so that's 1, 2, and 3. Then do a bottom right diagonal. Then do an upright diagonal. Go right of it by 1. Then do a bottom right diagonal. Then do an upright diagonal. Then do a bottom right diagonal. And go right by 2, 1, 2. Then do a bottom right diagonal, followed by a bottom left diagonal, followed by a bottom right diagonal. Go down by 2, 1, 2. Then do a bottom left diagonal. Then do an up left diagonal. Go left by 1. Then go down by 2, 1, 2. Then do a bottom right diagonal. Then do 2 bottom left diagonals, so that's 1 and 2. Go to the left of the second bottom left diagonal by 3, so that's 1, 2, 3. Then do 2 up left diagonals, so that's 1 and 2. Then connect everything together by going left by 1 and also go down by 1. Let me just show you the shape that you should have formed there, since it is quite a complex shape when you actually look at it. Look at it, it's all jagged, there's twists and turns everywhere, but that's the shape that you want to have made. It's not too complicated because of course you're not really doing any more than 3 blocks in a row, but once you form this shape right here, we can now continue on, and we do have to backtrack on ourselves just a little bit. So can you guys see here at the bottom left hand side of the head where we have this little mini T shape where we kind of just wrapped things up? Well, what we now want to do is go up on top of this right hand side of our T by 2 with our black wool, so that's 1 and 2. You then want to do an upright diagonal, then a bottom right diagonal, then an upright diagonal, go right by 1, and then go down by 2, so that's 1, 2. Once you've done that, you then want to connect everything together by coming back up to where you were just going down from and do an upright diagonal to form this shape right here, and we've just formed the face right there by doing that. Once you've reached this point, we can now move on to the rest of the body. So to do this, can you guys see at the bottom of the head here where we have this row of 4? Well, starting from this right hand block, in our row of 4, you want to go down by 1. Then go right by 2. 1, 2. Then go up by 1. Then continue going right in the same line that we were before by 1. Then do 3 upright diagonals from this block, so that's 1, 2, 3. Then go to the right of this third diagonal by 1 with your spruce wood planks. Then place a black wool underneath this spruce wood plank. Then do 3 bottom left diagonals, so that's 1, 2, 3. Then go left of this third bottom left diagonal by 1. Then go down by 2. 1, 2. Then do a bottom left diagonal. And go left by 2. 1, 2. Then do an up left diagonal. And go left of it by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then go up by 1. Then connect everything together by going left by 1. This is the shape that you want to have formed in doing that, and as you guys can see, we've just done the arm there, we've done part of the torch, and we've just connected everything together. Once you've done that, you now want to return back down to the bottom of our pixel art, and this time starting from the right hand side of our row of 9, starting from this end block, this 9th block, you want to go up by 1 with your black wool. Then do an up left diagonal from that wall. Then go up on top of this diagonal until you connect to where you just were to make a giant T shape like this. Take this block that connects to where we were just building, this one right here, this top block, and go left of it until you connect to the left hand side of your pixel art. So you want to form this shape that we have right here. Once you form this shape, you now want to return back down to our row of 9, and starting from this block right here, so coming in from the right, you want to be on the third block coming in from the right, this one right here, you want to place a black wall, so everything connects diagonally, like this. From this black wall that you've placed, place an up left diagonal. Then go up on top of this diagonal until you connect all the way back to where we just we developed a stutter, where we were just building. Slightly reverberated there. Where we were just building. And what you want to end up with in total is something that should look a little bit like this. And that is just the entire outline fully completed. Once you've done that, the only semi-difficult part now is going to be the hair, so we're going to take care of that first, and then we'll move on to all of the easy bits. So, once you've reached this point right here, and pause this if necessary, if you're still working on that of course, you now want to come all the way up to the top of the head, and we're now going to do the hair. So, the way that I'm going to do this is I'm just going to place all of the black stained clay that exists for the hair, and then I'm just going to give you guys a nice solid view of what you want to have for the hair in terms of black stained clay. I'm not going to try and explain any sort of placement because that seems a little futile. It seems as though it will just drive us both crazy because of how long it would take and how complicated I'd have to try and sound. But if I do it this way, hopefully you guys should get a good solid decent grasp on how you're actually supposed to place this. And once you've placed your black stained clay, which is actually really easy to see, it's not so easy to see on the plans that I drew up for this. So if you place all of the black stained clay in all of those positions that you can see for the hair, and again guys, this is the most difficult part of this, because it's kind of spread around a little bit, but it's mostly centered around the outline of your pixel art, so you're not really going to have too many trouble placing it. I am on a roll with both speech and grammar today. So, once you've placed all of the black stained clay, and pause this if necessary, if you're still working on that of course, all you have to do to fill in the rest of the hair section is just fill everywhere else in with regular old brown clay, which is exactly what I'm doing now. And I'll show you the hair again once the brown clay's been placed, just in case it provides any sort of contrast for you guys and it makes the previous part any easier. So this is what you want to have for the entire hair section. Really, really simple. Once you've done that, we can now move on to the rest of it. And I'm going to speed up for the rest of it because it does get a bit easier. So once you've taken care of the hair, pause this if necessary of course, we can now move on to the next bit. So we'll now take care of the face, which is really simple. It's just a little bit of white, a little bit of light grey clay, and then a lot of white stained clay. And I'm just going to fill these sections in. I'm going to give you guys a nice view of them, like this. I want you guys to apply everything that you can see on the screen, and then we can move on to the next bit. So this is the face. Pause this if necessary. Once you've got that taken care of, we can now move on to the next bit. So we're now going to take care of the torso, which is equally as easy because there's not too much of it, and there's all of the color is pretty much just centered around the black wool. So I'm just going to completely fill it in, and then we're going to take a look at it. It's going to be nice and easy for both of us. So let me just continue by filling this in. And what you want to end up with for the torso is something that should look a little bit like this. And it's just both of the greens and both the light grey clay and the white clay just mixed in together, just like that. Apply everything that you see on the screen. Once you've done that, we can move on. Pause this if necessary, of course. So once you've taken care of that, we actually have to get rid of a few materials to move on to the leg section. So the materials that we're going to need to finish off this tutorial, we're going to need brown stained clay. We'll also need yellow stained clay. We will also need some grey wool, dark grey wool I should say. We'll also need orange, yellow, red, and finally we're also going to need again some spruce wood planks, and those are the colours that we need to finish off this tutorial. There's a lot of colours involved with this guy. Once you've got all of those, we can now do the legs and then the torch. So this is what you want to do for the leg section, and again it's really simple. So I'm just going to apply everything that needs to be done, and then I'm going to show you guys what you have to do for yourself. So this is what you want to have for the leg section. Very simple. Pause this if necessary, apply everything that you see. Once you've done that, we can move on to the torch. So moving all the way back up to here for the torch, we just have to fill these bits in with our planks. We then just have to add a bit of a flame for the torch, and then we'll be done. So let me just do this. Got the orange wool, there we go. So this is what you want to have for the torch. On the right hand side of your pixel art, very simple, you fill the center bit in with wood, then you've just got to make the little bit with red, yellow, orange, but that's what you want to end up with. I'm sure that you will have no trouble doing that whatsoever. So pause this if necessary, apply everything that you see there. Once you've done that, you have fully completed your pixel art. The Steve of Terraria, as I like to call him. And I'm really sorry about that tutorial, guys, but I don't see an easier way of doing it, to be honest with you. If there was an easier way, I would have tried to have tutorialed it in a different way, but I just didn't see how I could make that any easier for you guys. He's quite detailed to say how small he is, and he does look really nice. It's all of the colour that's added to him. I definitely made a lot of effort to make sure that it was as detailed as possible. So, hopefully you guys had no trouble making this. I was thinking about doing some of the NPCs for Terraria. I wouldn't be doing all of them, because there's like 50 of them, no joke, there's 50s. I'm hyperbole a little bit, but there's about 30, yeah, probably about 30 NPCs, but I might pick some of my favourites, maybe the first 5 or so. If this guy gets a good response, I might be willing to do some more, but if not, fair enough, I like this anyway. Very nice looking pixel art, so hopefully you managed to make it no problem. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.